Have you ever noticed how a single sharp comment from a stranger or a cold look from a colleague can completely hijack your entire day? You feel that sudden heat rising in your chest, that desperate urge to snap back, and, before you know it, you've said something that leaves you with a heavy heart for weeks. You aren't just losing an argument, you are losing your inner peace. You are becoming a prisoner to the opinions of people who don't even matter. If you are exhausted from feeling like a puppet whose strings are pulled by every insult, lie, or unfair criticism, then this message is for you. Welcome to English for You. On this channel, we believe that true fluency is about more than just vocabulary. It's about the strength and clarity of your mind. Many learners struggle to improve because their energy is drained by the noise of life. The stress, the regrets, and the constant emotional reactions. But what if you could master the English language while simultaneously building a spirit that is absolutely unshakable? By subscribing to English for You, you are choosing to heal your mind while you sharpen your tongue. We invite you to join our community to turn your pain into power and your frustration into fluent, confident speech. In today's lesson, we explore the profound difference between a life of constant suffering and a life of deep tranquility. Stay with me until the very end, because the wisdom we are about to share will transform not only how you communicate, but how you navigate every storm in your life. Don't let the world control your mind for another second. Hit that subscribe button, and let's begin your journey to becoming calm, focused, and truly free. Think about how often you hand over the keys to your happiness to a complete stranger just because of a passing remark. Lesson 1. Reacting means they control you. When someone can flip a switch and instantly make you boil with rage, you are no longer the master of your own ship. I want you to realize that your emotions are like invisible strings, and the world is constantly trying to play you like a puppet. We often mistake a quick, fiery comeback for strength, but in reality, a fast reaction is just a sign that you are easy to manipulate. Every time you snap without thinking, you surrender your most valuable asset, your inner peace. I have seen this pattern destroy brilliant minds and hard-earned reputations. For instance, consider a passionate small business owner who receives one unfair, nasty review online. Instead of staying calm, they post a furious, insulting reply for everyone to see. In that moment, they aren't protecting their brand. They are showing the world they are emotionally unstable. They lose potential customers, not because of the original bad review, but because they let a single person's negativity dictate their behavior. We must understand that when we react emotionally, we are simply performing the exact role the provocateur designed for us. True authority isn't found in having the last word, but in being the only one who decides when and if your peace should ever be disturbed. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, why do we allow our worst impulses to take the driver's seat the second someone pushes our buttons? When you feel that surge of irritation, your natural instinct is to strike back. But that is precisely how you surrender your authority. To break this cycle, I want to introduce you to a life-altering practice: the 5-second rule. Picture this. You've just walked through the door after a grueling shift, and someone close to you makes a sharp, biting comment about a small mistake you made. Your chest tightens, and a stinging retort is already on the tip of your tongue. In that high-stakes second, I am asking you to do absolutely nothing. Just breathe. Count slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and observe as the internal heat begins to dissipate. This brief window allows your brain to transition from a state of emotional fire to one of logical clarity. At English for You, we emphasize that mastering a language requires a steady mind. If you are constantly reacting to life's stressors, you lack the mental space to grow your skills. By subscribing to English for You, you are committing to a journey of both linguistic and emotional excellence. We are here to help you trade those impulsive outbursts for deliberate, powerful communication. Have you ever let a 5-second moment of anger cause a long-term regret in your life? Tell us your story in the comments below. Sharing these pains helps us all stay committed to our growth. Mastering this pause is the ultimate act of rebellion against a world that wants you to lose your cool. It is a haunting truth that our loudest outbursts often leave behind the longest, most suffocating shadows of remorse. We must confront lesson 2. Most reactions become regrets. Often, we mistakenly believe that being honest or real means venting every ounce of frustration the moment it arises. However, I want you to see that these rapid-fire responses usually stem from a place of internal pain, not genuine power. You don't actually carry the weight of the insult someone threw at you. Instead, you carry the heavy, jagged memory of how you lost your dignity in response. Let me share a different scenario. Imagine a talented artist who, after receiving a single piece of blunt criticism from a gallery owner, lashes out with a barrage of defensive insults. The owner moves on, but the artist is left with a burned bridge and a reputation for being impossible to work with. Years later, the lingering pain isn't about the critique, it's about the professional suicide they committed in 5 minutes of blind fury. At English for You, we understand that your words are your legacy. We encourage you to subscribe and join us, not just to learn grammar, but to cultivate a voice that commands respect rather than one that begs for forgiveness. True victory is not found in the fire of an argument, but in the quiet satisfaction of knowing you never gave your character away to a fleeting emotion. True freedom begins the moment you realize that there is a sacred space between a difficult event and your response to it. This brings us to a vital shift in perspective. Train yourself to respond, not react. I want you to start viewing your mind as a muscle that needs daily exercise to stay disciplined. When life hands you an unfair situation, you must anchor yourself with one powerful thought. I acknowledge this feeling, but I own my reaction. You aren't suppressing your heart, you are giving it dignity. If you feel a surge of resentment, don't ignore it. Name it. Ask yourself, am I actually upset about this specific conversation, or is a ghost from my past trying to fight a battle that ended years ago? Imagine you are working hard on a community project, and a colleague dismisses your contribution with a cold, uncaring shrug. Instead of letting a defensive fire consume you, step back. Wait an hour, or even a day if you have to. By giving yourself that time, you ensure that when you finally speak, you are acting from a place of truth and strategy rather than just bleeding on people who didn't cut you. If your anger is just an echo of an old wound, are you really living in today, or are you just a ghost haunting your own present? At English for You, we believe that when you learn to control your tongue, you learn to control your destiny. Choosing to wait isn't about being slow. It's about ensuring that your future self doesn't have to spend tomorrow cleaning up the mess made by today's temporary anger. Consider the profound weight of the words we choose to withhold when the entire world expects us to scream. We often live under the false impression that staying quiet makes us look like cowards, or that walking away proves we are afraid. I want to challenge that belief today by showing you that silence is a superpower. In reality, it takes infinitely more strength to keep your mouth closed when every nerve in your body wants to fight back. Silence is not a void. It is a calculated focus and a supreme form of dignity. When we refuse to give a reaction, we maintain a level of mystery that keeps our opponents off balance, because they can never be sure if they've actually touched a nerve, or if we have already moved past them. Think about a professional designer who presents their heart's work, only to have a rival mock it with petty, personal insults during a team meeting. Instead of descending into a messy argument to defend their worth, the designer simply pauses, looks the critic in the eye without a word, and moves to the next slide. That silence instantly shifts the power in the room. The critic looks childish and desperate, while the designer remains an untouchable professional. We must understand that you don't need to attend every argument you're invited to, nor do you owe an explanation to those who have already made up their minds. By choosing stillness, you don't just survive the conflict, you transform it into a testament to your own. We often walk through life treating our mental energy as if it were an infinite well, tossing buckets of our peace into every passing conflict without a second thought. This brings us to a vital realization. Not everything deserves your energy. We fall into the trap of believing that responding to every critic or correcting every petty rumor is a sign of bravery. But in reality, it is the quickest way to bankrupt your soul. You have a limited amount of focus each day, and every time you engage with a toxic remark or a meaningless argument, you are literally stealing success from your own future. Think of a visionary young architect who spends his most productive hours defending his design against a few bitter, anonymous trolls on a forum instead of refining his blueprint. He becomes so emotionally drained by the need to be right in the eyes of strangers that he loses the creative spark needed for his actual work. He didn't fail because he lacked talent. He failed because he allowed the noise of others to consume the fuel intended for his dreams. We must learn to protect our energy like it's gold, recognizing that our silence is often the most strategic move we can make. On our channel, we have curated a wide range of videos that focus on this exact type of personal evolution, while helping you sharpen your English skills at the same time. We invite you to dive into our playlist of insightful content to discover more lessons on building a resilient mind and a sophisticated vocabulary. By guarding your focus against the trivial distractions of the world, you reclaim the absolute power to construct a life that truly reflects your highest potential. Observe the profound shift in atmosphere when a single individual refuses to panic while everyone else is sinking into chaos. There is a quiet magnetism in a person who remains unshaken as the world naturally gravitates toward those who can maintain their clarity during a storm. We must understand that the one who stays calm wins, not because they are indifferent to the pressure, but because they have mastered the art of holding their ground without breaking. This stillness is your greatest asset in leadership, in your personal relationships, and in every internal struggle you face. Imagine a lead developer whose team has just encountered a critical system crash minutes before a major global product launch. While others are frantic, pointing fingers and descending into a state of blind anxiety, this person simply pauses, takes a steady breath, and begins to methodically analyze the error. By refusing to join the collective panic, they instantly become the anchor for the entire department. They haven't ignored the gravity of the situation. They have simply chosen to lead through it with a clear mind rather than a burning one. This discipline is a warrior skill developed through daily practice, in small moments, from a spilled drink to a missed flight. When you possess the courage to be still, you don't just survive the crisis, you become the very force that stabilizes it. Break free from the illusion that your immediate impulses are your only choice, because much of what we call personality is actually just a collection of ancient, unexamined habits. We must confront Lesson 6. Reaction is habit, response is power. Most of us operate like pre-programmed machines. Someone insults us, we snap. Someone ignores us, we feel small. This is an automatic loop triggered by old wounds rather than the reality of the present moment. I want to commend you for your incredible dedication to this journey. The fact that you are still watching proves you are ready to stop being a puppet to your past and start being the master of your future. Think about a talented freelance artist who receives a stinging, disrespectful email from a client after working through the night. The habit would be to fire back a defensive, angry reply or to descend into a spiral of self-doubt. However, a responder takes a breath. They recognize that the client's aggression is a reflection of the client's own internal stress, not the quality of the art. By waiting and choosing a calm professional reply, the artist maintains their reputation and keeps the power in their own hands. When you break the chain of automatic behavior, you reclaim the throne of your life and ensure that no external storm can ever dictate your internal direction. Reaching the summit of this spiritual and linguistic journey requires us to face the most formidable opponent of all, the silent, hungry voice of the ego dwelling within our own hearts. We often believe we are fighting for justice or respect, but most of the time, we are simply trying to feed that invisible part of us that demands to be seen and validated. I want you to understand that the ego is not your power, it is your prison, keeping you trapped in a cycle of bitterness, anger, and unnecessary explanations. You don't need to defend what is already real, nor do you need to be loud to prove you are right. Think of a veteran teacher who is blatantly ignored by a rebellious student during a lecture. Instead of exploding to demand respect or proving their authority through a display of anger, the teacher simply continues their lesson with a calm smile. They don't need the student's validation to know their own professional value. They choose peace over being right. By dropping the ego, you finally become light, free, and truly untouchable, because your worth is no longer up for debate. If you are exhausted by the internal noise and tired of letting your worth be defined by the opinions of others, it is time to take your power back. Subscribe to English for You right now to reclaim your life. We are here to help you turn your pain into a powerful, fluent voice that speaks from a place of deep peace, not ego. Stop giving your precious energy to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. From this moment forward, may your worth never be a matter of debate, and may you walk through the noise of the world with the unshakable grace of a heart that has finally found its home in silence.